Hey, great Thursday evening. It has been a different kind of day in the city of Brownsville. It's like a normal Texas city. It starts off hot, it started to get cool, and then it started to rain, and then it started to get hot again. But again, it's Texas. What can you expect? But it really did pour pretty bad during midday. So again, they finally got it right. The meteorologists were saying expect rain, and they finally got it right. And tonight we have with us a friend of mine, a friend of mine, Rafael Coya. ¿Cómo está, Rafael?
Good, good. So we're friends now. I thought we were sort of like frenemies. We had this interesting
Well,
dynamic for a while.
well, it's kind of weird. I think you and I are the type of people that are very, very strong-minded, strong-willed, and I mean, last time we met up, I think it was downtown. We had a great
It
conversation.
was great. It was great. It was great.
Conversation. Hey, Mo, how's it going, man? Great conversation. And I mean,
We're hanging out with Ben. We had a great time. I had a great time.
it was fun, and it's all about dialogue. As long as you have dialogue, where it's all
Yeah.
good, man. It's all good. And again, one of the things that I've always said, because a lot of people seem to think that, well, Erasmo, que you hate people that disagree with you. I go like, no, man. I mean, I've had discussions with a lot of the people that even on here. They'll be probably giving opinions tonight. That had discussions with them, but you go over that little hump, you move on, have a cup of coffee later on together. Don't know. So now I consider you a friend, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't consider you an enemy.
If you say you're my friend and you're extending your virtual hand to me right now, then
Virtual
I
hand.
then I shake it.
I know
Then I
you.
shake it. I
I,
shake it very graciously.
it's good to see you, my man. God bless.
You too.
And of course, we got Frankie with us tonight. Frankie, how you doing, man?
How's it going? It's been an interesting day. We got a lot of topics to talk about. Crazy numbers due to the COVID-19 crisis. I still want to remind our viewers this Sunday. Not only is it Father's Day, but we'll be announcing the details for our scholarship. We'll be giving two $500 scholarships to students in our local area. So we're very excited about that. A lot to get to, Erasmo. I'm glad Rafael is here, and it's going to be an interesting night. Can't wait.
It's gonna be an interesting night, guys. And I'm sorry I lost track. Guys, thank you for everyone being here. Lost track of where everyone's at. The numbers are in, and again, I did post them on the page. I sent them to Rafael. He has them, or I don't know if he got them. We have 70 new cases for Cameron County.
It's insane.
How many are from Brownsville? 45, Frankie? 45 from Brownsville.
That's correct.
I mean, more than half of them are from Brownsville. And again, the numbers of the ages out there are, very, very sad. There's still a lot of 20s out there. We got a 6-month-old, a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, just a lot of young people. We do have a lot of other individuals that are past their 70s. So, those are the individuals that are probably more at risk to, succumbing or, being caught up at our local hospitals, which I hear are getting close to being at max capacity throughout the valley. Actually,
These numbers that you're mentioning are, I think, they're the first children that I hear of in the last few weeks, right?
in the past couple of weeks, I think yes, we had a couple of 1-year-olds though. But in regards to 6-month-old in the misses, I mean, yeah, I think the last time was maybe like 3 weeks ago. We had an 8-month-old, no?
An 8 or 9-month-old. So 6 months is our youngest one.
Yeah,
No,
you're right.
no fatalities, right?
Kids, not yet. No.
Kids.
Gracias a Dios. Gracias a Dios, no kids right now. Oh, what is Rafa going to say? we're going to find out. And again, nothing practice, nothing verse, nada. Saludos a Chemamonte. Jubilee, guys. And again, guys, I'm going to miss on the comments a little bit just to focus on the numbers a little bit. Guys, the numbers are not good. A lot of these are community-based numbers. But again, a lot of them are linked to previous cases. Rafael, what do the numbers tell you?
I didn't read them, but I have a general idea that it's increasingly bad. And I mean, anybody who's been paying attention to what the experts are saying could have foreseen this. This is it's math. 1 + 1 is always going to give you 2. Always. So if you follow the trend a few months back, it was just obvious that we were opening up, we were reopening the economy way too soon, and this is exactly what was going to happen. It's just logic, you know. It's sad. It's a crime. It's criminal.
Well, going into the economy, you know, one of the things that I've said, and I'll continue to say, I'm glad that parts of the economy are starting to open. I just wish, and I agree with Rafael, I wish that they would have been opened a little bit more responsibly. You know, I think that the phasing out, or the phases that the governor, were completely unrealistic. No one was going to abide by them. It was just things on paper. I seriously don't think that he actually took into consideration what a lot of the experts were saying, what a lot of the scientists were saying. No. Because everything that I read, Rafael and Frankie, everything that I read in regards to what was going out around the world, and we even had some individuals on here from Spain. We had a Goodrich out here, nurses that were actually working in New York City, and that clearly told me that what the governor did in regards to opening up the economy the way he did was very, very, very responsible. Very, very responsible. And there was just no way that we were going to see numbers like this, Frankie.
You know, Rafael is correct. You know, it's very alarming whenever, you know, we get these at a increasing rate. Rafael, we just got word that, you know, San Antonio area, the Bexar County area, reported 400 new cases. And this is something that has been consistent. I believe yesterday or the day before, they got the triple digits in the high 400s. Here locally, Hidalgo County, once again, triple digits. They're also at 100 deaths when I believe a fatality or two. And what bothers me, guys, is the transmission. If we take a look at these numbers, again, the age groups, that leads me to believe, Rafael, Memorial Day weekend, graduation, people at the island. And the key thing, Erasmo, is the transmission to me. Community spread. That leads me to believe exactly what Rafael had mentioned. We are not listening to the recommendations. We have relaxed in regards to our defenses to say, you know, that mentality, I hate to say it, but no pasa nada. This is getting from bad to worse very quickly. Again, we do have one death, a 76-year-old from Brownsville passed away at the Solara Hospital nursing home. So for fatalities here in Cameron County, we're at 48, and the number total so far is 1371. So again, you know, we have a 6-month-old guys, 2 1-year-olds, a 3-year-old, 14-year-olds. It's you know, when does this stop? You know, Rafael, we've talked about, have we even reached our peak? I think we could all agree that we have yet to even get there. So
we're still in the first wave, according to Fauci.
We're still in the first wave. Now, when is the second wave going to come? That's the question we should ask ourselves.
What we need to point out, and we all need to agree on this. This is something that there should be consensus for anybody who's trying to understand this. The decision to reopen the economy was a political and an economic decision. It was not a decision made with public health priorities. It was made with the priority of the economic interests. Exactly. And it's you know, it's sad when you have people like Fauci, who is a person he was at the forefront of the AIDS epidemic when it first became a problem in the U.S. That's how he became an expert. So it's really sad when you see people like him put out there in the front light, and you can see them trying to hold back. You can see them trying to. They're being they're not being allowed to talk about the things that they know because they're being used as political props, you know. So it's shameful. I'm not gonna go out and say these people have blood on their hands, but what is happening?
They got blood on their hands. They definitely got blood on their hands.
It was not a public health decision. It was an economic decision.
And they got blood on their hands because it was just so irresponsible. Look, Rafael, just today, the governor goes out there, and again, you know me, you know I'm very, very conservative. But again, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Let me tell you, the governor goes out there today and says, hey, you know, kids are going to go back to school like normal in the fall. And I said, is this guy nuts? I mean, has he completely lost it? I mean, does anyone out there truly believe that the schools are going to be safe. Fíjate, just in this time right now, guys, that we've had individuals go onto campus, which have been teachers and paraprofessionals and food service staff. They've gone onto campuses and said, boom, positives. These are educated individuals, adults. We recently had the high school students go back on campus for condition training, the athletes, under supervision, a PR stunt by the superintendent, que les iban a tomar pictures. You see the pictures with the kids with a mask and the horns. What happens? They cut it short because of the same thing. Now, these are our higher elevation, higher grade students. Yeah. The higher grade students. Does anyone even start to believe or think that our junior high kids or our elementary school kids are going to maintain social distancing?
Not mine. Mine won't.
Impossible.
They don't respect any personal space, and they will do. They're children. It's and we're willing to go and sacrifice them, however percentage of them that are going to get seriously sick for the economy.
For political reasons. You said it. And the only thing that the superintendent and the stupid board are concerned about right now is re-election time in November. The same thing that the president is concerned, and the same thing that Abbott's concerned for the president, re-election. And that's just very, very sad. But again, I agree with, I don't know if Rafael took it back or not, but they have blood. They're going to have blood on their hands. They are. It's irresponsible. It is moronic. The scientists have showed it. The medical professionals have shared it. It is not time. Now, they're planning to send the kids back to school. Rafael, what about our special education kids?
No, there's the immune compromised. There's all kinds of talk about monument.
We will.
Oh, we will, sir.
But yeah, special education kids.
Yeah, no, it's anybody. It's not just about the kids, because I'm a healthy man in my 30s. I don't have any conditions. I might get really sick, but I don't think I'm at risk. But just the fact that I'm out there and I'm in contact with people who will be at risk, it's just, it just looks to me like they're willing to sacrifice whatever percentage of people in order to keep things going for the people who need workers to produce for them. And the people who need workers to produce for them, those people are going to be fine. Yeah. They're going to be in their homes. They're not going to risk anything. They want the people who are producing for them to go and risk themselves so that they can keep the cash flow going. And it sucks. And here's another point that I want to make. Yeah. I don't think what I was telling a few friends. I'm a musician. I'm a professional musician. So when this whole thing started, I was telling my friends, look, man, I'm out. I'm out. I should not have to go out and work. And you shouldn't either. But what's going to happen is that when they start reopening things, everybody's going to jump on board, because not because you want to, not because you feel safe, but because our self-worth is so tied up to being productive that a lot of people are going to be afraid of being left behind, because the competition in whatever business that you're in is just going to go out there, and they're going to keep working, and even if you don't want to go out there, you're going to feel the pressure and the guilt of not doing so because you don't want to be left behind in the economy.
Yeah.
Right. So
just to correct something real quick, you can't blame Fauci. I don't think no one here was blaming Fauci. No. I think, and I'm not going to speak for Rafael, but he wasn't. He was saying that President Trump was not listening to Fauci, and that's exactly what I've said. And I agree with you in regards to the blood on. I've said it, and I think we've all said it. The blood is on the politicos' hands. It is on Trump's hands, and it is on Abbott's hands, and it's on anybody else in political power that. Sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to answer that for him before we went on.
And here's the thing. I don't think it's fair that we have to choose, that we are being forced to choose between paying the rent and go out there and getting your grandmother sick and killing her. It's not fair, and we shouldn't have to choose, because let me tell you why. These people got together, Republicans and Democrats, they got together in a couple of weeks without a major hiccup. Maybe a few things that they had to iron out. They got together and they decided that they were just going to pump out a few $1 trillion to get things going, just so that the economy wouldn't die. Well, guess what? 80% of that money went to people who are already rich. 80% of that money went to corporations and the richest people who don't even pay taxes. So all that money that was accumulated from our workers paying taxes went to people who don't even pay taxes. 80% of it. So we have the money. We have all paid for it collectively. It's there. We shouldn't have to choose between dying and paying the rent.
It's crazy.
That's what taxes are for. That's what taxes exist. We create a pool that's for the benefit of everybody, just for situations like this.
It's
the
crazy.
money is there. We shouldn't have to choose.
Yeah. Now let me correct. And again, Mike, I saw your comment. Mike, I saw your comment. I don't know anyone on here that has blamed Fauci. I mean, I think all of us are praising Fauci and that the government should have listened to the doctors. So I'm not sure exactly where you lost us, but we didn't say that. But again, I agree. I mean, it's very sad where a lot of individuals, I understand what Rafael is saying, are having to be placed, it's like entre la espada y la pared. They're going to have to choose. Hey, man, and you shouldn't have to choose in this country. This is the richest country on the face of God's earth. It's the richest country that's ever existed. There's no reason for anyone to go hungry in this country. There's no reason for anyone to have to succumb to any type of disease whatsoever. And again, the country was opened too soon. It was all because of political reasons. It was all because of the sake of the economy. Now, with that said, again, I believe the economy should open up in a way that's semi-responsible, in a way that somewhat makes sense. Mira, Rafa, one of the things that I've said out there, and I'll say it again tonight, guys, I understand that the economy needs to open, and I understand that we need to follow certain guidelines. Pero, Rafa, the guy at the White House, allá in Washington, D.C., and Abbott out here in Austin, they're not living the hell that the people of Brownsville and Cameron County are living. Now, if they want to make recommendations for the state, let them be recommendations and let the local officials be able to, use them if they need to use them. Because you can't compare a county like Cameron County to allá la county de Tacuacheville, allá in Northeast Texas, where there are no cases whatsoever of coronavirus, or very few cases. So I understand all these upper counties that haven't faced the virus as hard as we can. Yeah, man, let them open a little bit stronger than we can. We can't. I mean, look at the way that our numbers are being reported, guys. I mean, hasta ahorita, right now, you look at the sheet right now that I already posted on my page, and I've already sent to Rafa, and Frankie just sent to me. You look at that page, and we still haven't heard from Fox Hollow. It's not on the list. It's not on the list. And the people that have family members at Fox Hollow have received phone calls that have told them that 8 individuals that are residents there and 8 individuals that are employees there. So should we be concerned? Yes, we should be concerned, because we are not being kept up to date as fast as we should. And that information is important, because the least information we have, that lo más confiado que anda la gente, como si nada estuviera pasando.
Now, let me ask you something. I'm not a conspiracy person by any means.
I am.
Oh, you are? Oh, this is gonna get fun. But let me ask you something, because I do wonder, and this is not an accusation in any way. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Do you think that these numbers are being underreported or not reported fast enough deliberately?
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. I completely believe that they are doing it. Mira, no es por nada, but I kind of think that they don't like for the numbers to be out there as fast as they are, because mira, I don't know if you follow. I'm sure you. Well, I think I've seen you on there. Juan Montoya's page.
Yeah.
El Run. Juan Montoya reported the death of the first individual, I think, that passed away here in Brownsville. I mean, and we were all in shock. We're like, oh my goodness, hey. So then estamos viendo la hoja y nada sale. Y dije, a la más, se les pasaría. And then boom, the next day. Rafael, it took a week and a half to 2 weeks before they ever reported the first death in Brownsville. Yeah. I mean, why are they dropping the ball? People need to be kept up to date immediately. Look, I look at the numbers in Matamoros, because I follow Matamoros.
Oh, that's a crisis. It's an absolute crisis.
It's a crisis. Rafael, I talked to some doctor friends of mine, because I asked them if they were wanting to come on, to give us a qué está pasando en nuestro Matamoros. They said, this is what the doctors told me. They said, Erasmo, we'd love to, we can't. We've been instructed not to say anything, but Erasmo, tell the people out there, our doctors are dying, our dentists are dying. It's a major crisis here. The numbers are not being reported.
I think the reason for it is because of everything that's going on. 1.3 million more people applied for unemployment throughout the United States. We're dealing with a national pandemic. First, it was at the global level. Now we're dealing here with the U.S., more importantly, here locally. We have places like South Padre Island, who was promoting Intocable, was promoting some country artists, if I'm not mistaken. And just recently, Rafael, they just canceled it because of everybody questioning, like, hey, is this the right thing to do? We haven't seen a dip in the numbers. So, Erasmo, whenever you say that, again, I'm all in favor of opening up, but in my opinion, we have not shown that we are responsible enough for us to be out in the community. I hate to say this, guys, but I strongly feel that, and I'm going to get in trouble with all my business friends, I strongly feel that we need to shut it down again. We have gotten alarming results at HEBs, at meat markets. We had Dr. Eder Hernandez saying, hey, guys, prepare for the worst. The county has seen a large amounts of cases at the courthouse. So it's something very alarming. And
we should shut it down. And you know what the problem is one thing that is really telling to me is that in most circumstances, people will not want to shut down. People will shut down. Enough about COVID. Let's talk about my racist ass. That's hilarious. People don't want to shut down. People are forced to shut down usually.
Right.
What we're seeing right now is that these places of business are shutting down voluntarily.
And
that's how bad it is. They're not even waiting to be told to shut down. They're just closing. Well, because a lot of these people, especially because one of the industries that I'm in contact because of what I do is the service industry, and it's just almost it's almost an epidemic in people who work in the service industry. At least here in the Valley, these people are just getting sick left and right. A lot of friends of mine, and they're shutting down.
Well, it was very telling, guys. Like, look, come on, guys. When the governor put out the phases, and I saw bars opening at 25%, I'm going like, is this guy stupid? Is this guy just stupid? Y no me dejó mentir. I mean, again, and Rafa, I sometimes like the bars. Pero let me tell you guys, salieron el video de este fin de semana, the video, that weekend, guys, estaban hasta así la raza. Yep. There was no social distancing. There was no 25%. There was no stay away from the bar. Estaban así. And a week and a half later, guess what happens? This bar closes, this bar closes, this bar closes, this bar. Because the employees were coming out positive. Yeah. That's very, very telling. Y de repente Chili's, de repente que otro restaurant, que vende otro restaurant, de repente otro sign en la puerta. Oh, we're closed for deep cleaning. Just tell us the truth. Tell us what happened. Tell us that you opened way, way too fast. And let the governor know, that the people that are in leadership positions know that it was a big mistake. It was a big mistake, especially the service industry. Right now, every day, throughout the day, I get messages from all the restaurants, Whataburger, Target, the stores, everywhere. Guys, someone help us, because we know there are positive people here, but nobody wants to say anything. I mean, how crazy is that?
You know what question lingers in my head? What did they think was going to happen?
Exactly.
It's just, I can't, I'm flabbergasted. I can't grasp what exactly did they think was going to happen. If they, because they are closer to the experts than we are.
Right.
They heard it all. What did they think was going to happen?
I think, guys, the governor here locally, we're in a tough spot because we have seen what has happened to people on unemployment. Yes, there have been people who have been receiving unemployment, but on the other side, Rafael, there's other people that have been hurting economically. So we're in a tough spot. The governor's in a tough spot. Like, hey, if we shut it down, this is going to get any worse. What options do we have as a nation, as a state, as a county? How long can we shut it down for? After we shut it down, we're going to have to get rid of people who aren't working. So what options do we have, Erasmo?
The problem is, because of the way that it did open, it's going to be even harder to regulate. It's going to be even harder because by then, So many people are going to be infected. So many people are going to be going around passing it to other people. It's just going to get out of hand. And I really believe that we as a community are at that point where it's going to start to be out of hand and almost impossible to step it back. Almost impossible. Pero mira, look at the mentality of the people here, guys. They were already wanting to have a concert at the island. I mean, ¿en qué mente cabe? They were going to have it.
Who was it though? Who was playing?
Intocable. I like Intocable.
No, that's wrong.
I like Intocable, but
I like them too. But right now is not the time, guys.
Pero again,
I don't know if it's ever the time for Intocable. I mean,
oh, come on.
Are we ever ready for that? Are we ever ready for that?
He's off the show. Oye,
Fuera.
Look, let me sing you a little song.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yes. No, guys, but the county was promoting this. The county was promoting this, and they know the numbers. It's crazy.
It's insane. It's a crime. It's a crime, and I see it. I mean, I see it from a working class. I mean, everything. I see it through the lens of the. Okay, nice. I always see it through the lens of
hemorrhoids. He says the itch a lot. Pues que se le ponga Vicks Vaporú.
It's all about the diet too. Eat a lot of fiber. A friend told me that's
right.
Sí, me lo dijo.
A friend told me.
Sí. Oye, Fox Hollow queda acá por la Paredes Line Road. I think it's Paredes Line Road, past 802. I think that's where Fox Hollow is at. Am I right? Oh,
it's right behind the Walmart, no?
Yeah.
After Wendy's.
Yeah. Right behind there, in that area. Dr. Pelios, I have no idea. Agreed. As we need more accurate numbers, guys. What? Fíjate, ¿quién era? Someone was. Se fue la onda. Oh no, the district. Harlingen was quick to report their numbers. We have a positive. Ahí te va el number. This happens. We have a number. Fíjate, Rafael, the middle school, Garcia Middle School, we found out 3 weeks before that someone had tested positive. 3 weeks before. And then 3 weeks later, they announced it. We had a positive. At the district, it was a week before that they started to announce that they had positives. At the athletics at the high schools, a week and a half before we were saying that they had positives. Why is it so hard to immediately produce the numbers? That's the first one. Second of all, what happens in that week and a half? What happens in that month? Andan todos esparramando todo everywhere. And more staff, more teachers, more children, more students are becoming carriers.
Yep. I mean, let me. I mean, from a working class perspective, I got that stimulus bill. I mean, I got that stimulus money, and it was great. We paid. My wife had the foresight of paying a few months of rent in advance. It really, because I don't want to go out there and work, because I don't want to get sick and I don't want to get my parents sick. So it did help, and imagine, and if that helped everybody for about 3 months. And yet 80% of that went to people who are already rich, who don't need it. Then imagine if we take that 80% and we pay for another 7 months, 8 months, 10 months for everybody else until this thing really, really dies down. That's what should have happened. And then we don't need another stimulus bill, which they were talking about doing another one. We could have had enough with the first one to cover everybody to stay at home comfortably until this blows over.
Why
we shouldn't have to choose.
Well, I still want another check.
I resent that we have to choose.
I still want another check. That's just me.
I'm on unemployment.
Do you think shutdown is going to happen again? I don't think so. Not with the Republican leadership that we have in Austin and the Republican leadership that we have at the White House. A shutdown is not going to happen. I think right now the mentality of these people is que se mueran los fregados y que queden nomás los que puedan protegerse indefinitivamente con el dinero que tienen en sus casas. And I think that's the mentality right now, guys. Because let me tell you, a lot of the individuals, one of the first things that shocked me about coronavirus, and again, I did my best to look at coronavirus that was happening throughout the world. The first thing that shocked me, left me in awe, was the video that came from Ecuador. Did y'all see the video of Ecuador? Rafael?
Bodies everywhere.
Oh, let me tell you, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That was triste, and again, it's because the individuals didn't have the resources to protect themselves in regards to how bad, how severe Corona was going to hit, and did hit them. The video was horrifying, horrifying. And then now we start to see what's happening in Brazil. Guys, it's not a good thing up in South America in regards to coronavirus, and a lot of these other little countries out there. It's not a good thing. So we are very.
You know what? You don't have to go that far to see the perspective of a really lower class of worker. Just look at the lowest of the low, and I don't mean it pejorative. I mean it as far as in the economic spectrum. The lowest of the low are people who work at factories, who work at farms, which are the illegal aliens. There's a crisis. There's just an absolute epidemic. Everybody's infected. They're dying in huge numbers, and they don't get any protections. They don't get any stimulus bill. They don't get any health care. They don't get anything. They don't get any benefits, and they're dying and they're getting sick in record numbers. The owners of those factories are fine. Those are the voices that are not being heard, and that we need to talk for them too.
Yeah, let me tell you, and again, I just got a text right now. It's kind of cool because I see it on my computer. Just got a text that other restaurants here in the city of Brownsville, because I got a nice computer, Frankie. Other restaurants here in the city of Brownsville. I mean, constantly, like every hour, bro. Every hour we get to hear of another one. Guys, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. This is the way. This is our new reality right now. Until individuals learn that they must maintain social distancing, they must maintain their loved ones safe. And continuously wear those face coverings everywhere you go.
Guys, would you agree? And I think Erasmo had previously mentioned, is it like a survival of the fittest? Either they die type of mentality that Texas had? Because, hey, the numbers are skyrocketing. And the governor, Rafael, a couple of days ago when he was interviewed, he said, oh, yes, we're aware of the numbers, but it's nothing to be alarmed about. And I'm thinking, are you serious? Like, the rise in numbers is popping all over the state, and this guy, with a straight face, he's able to say everything's fine. The hospitals aren't, which here locally, and I believe Jordan previously mentioned that here locally, they're not accepting any more people at the hospitals. I believe they're at capacity. They might have a few extra beds, but it's getting to a point where it feels as if it's a Darwinism effect. Only the strong survive, and if people die, pues they die.
And you know what? These are the people from the party who a few years ago, when they were trying to pass Obamacare, one of the big rhetorical tools against Obamacare was the whole death panel things about killing grandma and all this, just straight up horrible lies, right? But they're willing to let your grandma die for well, that's exactly what this is. That's exactly what this is. These people did some math and decided that 10%, 5% of the population was disposable, that it was worth letting those people go in order for us to start things up. And it's not for us. It's for the people who need their workers to produce for them. Those are the ones who are pushing this. It's a crime.
In regards to, a couple of people have asked some questions in regards to the upcoming calendar. One of the things that, again, and I will say this, I'm very, very disappointed that we still, as of right now, have no calendar for the start of next school year. Now, in regards to the two options that are there, are for individuals to see which one you prefer. And again, I haven't had the opportunity to look at option D. I had posted options B and C because those were the ones that have been provided. But again, guys, I will look over them later on tonight, and we'll talk about them tomorrow morning in regards to the calendar. But again, I'm going to say again, we're being reactive where we should be a little bit more proactive out there for the district. Every other district out there has already started to dish out and to inform individuals that we're going into a hybrid system and a walk-in system. We've already made mention that the governor wants individuals back on campus. It's not going to happen, guys. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Kids should not go back on campus. If they want to force you to send your kids back on campus, you're going to have to start to homeschool your kids, because a lot of the teachers are going to have to make that decision. A lot of teachers, they're being forced to go back on campus. Teachers are being forced to be on campus, even if they want to do online schooling, like work from home. They want them a fuercita estar ahí in campus so they can supervise them and monitor it. It's impossible. What's going to happen to the teachers' kids that have to stay at home? Who's going to watch them? Not everyone has the luxury of having a babysitter. Not everyone can afford that. Not everyone lives with a spouse that stays at home. I mean, a lot because of how disadvantaged our economic system is here in this area, because our economic development is not. Then both of them have to work. Who are they going to leave their kids with? It's just irresponsible. We'll talk more about the calendar tomorrow. Again, I haven't had the chance to look at calendar D because of everything that has been going on today. But we will have a chance to talk about it tomorrow in regards to the different types of calendar. I'm more concerned with these individuals out there extending the contract of the superintendent. And we'll talk about the district first, then we'll go into the Rock. The Rock is what Jefferson Davis wants us to talk about.
The wrestler?
Yeah, Jefferson Davis was on here. I promise you he was. I saw him. Guys, but it's kind of I don't know what your take is, Rafael, but this is what happened at the board meeting. The superintendent has a 3-year contract. He earns close to $400,000 a year. $400,000 a year, 3-year contract. He hasn't finished year 1 yet, and they want to award him by extending him an extra year contract. Just makes no sense to anyone. What has he done that merits an increase in pay in that amount of money? He's making more than the PUB executives out there that already make over $300,000 each, and there's 3 of them. 3.
What would you do with that? What would you use those funds for, if not for that?
I could probably live the rest of my life with $400,000. I mean, because I live so simply.
No. But if you were to vote against that pay increase, what would you use that money for?
For teachers, for equipment,
easy. Giving raises to those that actually are out there on the front line. Rafael, I mean, one of the things that we've been saying out here, I was fighting when I was on the board, that we have the lowest paid staff, lowest paid teachers in the whole valley. I mean, our people go to conventions out here at Region 1 in Edinburgh, and they talk to other individuals out there, and they find out that they're getting paid $6-7 less than they are. It's just ridiculous. We are the richest district south of San Antonio. We sit on a $600 million budget, and we pay our employees less than other districts that are way smaller than we are. Doesn't make sense whatsoever. But we have the highest paid superintendent probably in the world.
in the world,
give or take.
In the world. Well, if you look at per capita,
yeah,
if you look at per capita per student, we have the highest paid superintendent. Let me tell you, at least in Texas. It's madness. It's crazy for the amount of students that we have. And now take into consideration, we're going to lose a lot of students this year because people are fed up with the bullcrap. They're tired of the bullcrap. The teachers do an amazing job, but the upper ups up there at the Glass Palace, I mean, they're screwing everybody over. They are screwing everybody over, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop. One of the things that came out, and again, we'll mention it because tomorrow is the court date. Sylvia ripped our district off with millions and millions of our dollars. Millions of dollars. Millions. So tomorrow's court date is preliminary hearing. Tomorrow.
Talking about that recorded phone call, right? The corruption case. Is that what we're talking about?
The corruption case.
The audio.
Well, I think there's an audio and a video. I think that we just haven't been told about the video because she literally took money from an undercover federal agent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, blatantly took money. And people are still saying, no, she's innocent. Innocent.
There's video.
Is this the board's, Erasmo, is this the board's strategy of trying to keep that fear that they have instilled in the district to say, hey, you better not say nothing because she's coming back and she's going to beat the rap? Is that what you think it is?
Well, it's the mentality of maintaining individual, because let me tell you, she ruled the district with an iron fist. Everyone was afraid of her. Everyone in the district was afraid of her. That's why her brother, Charlie Atkinson, is also high and mighty, el vato idiota. He's also high and mighty over there because the only reason he got his job as coach out there at Rivera was because of his sister.
Say it ain't so.
I'm serious. The guy wasn't even certified to teach. and he got a position as a teacher. Didn't even
Would you
have
say? Would you say now that you've been inside for a little bit? Would you say that nepotism is a big problem here in the valley, in valley politics?
a little bit. I mean, unfortunately, Rafael, it's not only in the district. It's and you mentioned the valley. It's the whole valley. In Cameron County, the people that get the good paying jobs, even though they're not qualified, are los compadres, or the family members, or the buddies, or los nephews, or los sobrinos. It's just the same thing, or anything. There is a big issue with nepotism. The city of Brownsville, a lot of the people that get hired at the city of Brownsville are because it's not what they know, it's who they know. And it's very unfortunate because we have individuals that are not as qualified as they should be in positions that really, really matter for our community. That need to people that need to make decisions that ultimately affect every single individual in the city or in the county. And it's just very, very unfortunate. And nothing changes. Nothing changes while we keep on bringing back the same people over and over and over again. Ya es una maña. It's a corruption.
Whose job would be in the structure of local government? Whose job would it be to clean that up?
It was our
The
job,
voters.
the voters' job.
The voters.
We
But
are
there's no structure in place to oversee that kind of thing.
no. Well,
Shouldn't there be a goal?
well, I'll tell you what the problem is. Rafa. The problem is that there should be checks and balances. There should be checks and balances, and a lot of times that's why they have a lot of these little different committees out there. But what happens, and I'll tell you one of the stories. One of the first experience that I had with this, and really, really opened my eyes to the situation here in Brownsville. I was at UTB TSC. I was the school board president of UTB TSC, and I usually would send people to the different meetings, but the guy couldn't go. Jorge, he's been on here. So yo voy, and I sit in the meeting, and they were going to increase the student tuition by $1. And you're like, well, why? Well, we're going to increase it by $1 because it's going to help out other students. I said, well, why don't we have students here that will, make ultimately, give that recommendation or not give that recommendation? Well, no. And what I saw in the committee was a lot of the yes people, the Julieta Garcia, Dr. Garcia, a lot of yes people. So that's what happens. They fill a lot of these little committees like GBEC, BCIC, Brownsville Beautiful, and all these other committees. They fill them with their yes vote, the people that are going to vote their way anyway. So you really don't have real true representation throughout the city. Doesn't exist because they'll only appoint the people that are going to be subservient to the people that are already in power. So ¿de qué sirve? ¿De qué sirve if you've got 12 committees, if you've got 144 puppets on there? ¿De qué sirve?
They're the same thing.
What about unions? Are teachers unionized here in the valley?
We have 3 unions here in Brownsville. 3 unions. The first union was AOBE, so American Association of Brownsville Educators, something like that. That union actually fights for its employees. They're actually out there asking for a stipend. They're out there fighting for their rights. They're out there being very proactive. The second one that came to be was BEST, Brownsville Educators Stand Together. Those are a piece of crap. And I'm talking about the leadership, not the members. Those are a piece of crap because they're out there kissing the butt of the board. No, don't kiss the butt of the board. Demand from the board better pay. Don't be out there taking them to lunch, llevándolos a tomarse un cafecito. No, make demands. And the other one is TVA, que también disappears whenever important matters are. We haven't even heard from the guy in 3 months since the corona hit. And teachers are out there suffering from anxiety, taking medication. Nothing. And let me tell you, for a lot of people out there that say, oh, Erasmo hates the unions. I don't hate the unions. I love the unions. I love protests. I love people when they come together and fight for something that makes sense. I love it. Completely love it. But there's 3 teacher unions. There's only one que vale la pena. Las demás no valen la pena. But you know what? I don't know if you remember, Rafael, but we used to have a union called BUCK here. Brownsville Union Coalition, where it had a bunch of the different little unions. That started to go desfumarse back and forth because of the same thing. I mean, a lot of the individuals that were part of the unions were just being self-serving. And when you got union members that are self-serving, it's a disaster. No
Yeah.
one serviced.
Organized labor. Organized labor is should be a stalwart of any healthy society, especially one in which the government doesn't really regulate the people in power. The people, everything is subservient to the power players. So in those cases, you need a strong culture of organized labor in order to keep things where they should be, to push back. I think that's a spirit that's missing here in the valley, and that we need more of. But you know what? I'll tell you something. I went to the march.
The protest.
I went to the protest a few weeks ago, and I've helped organize.
Marco Davila. Sorry,
I've helped organize a few in the past.
I remember.
The past few years, and I went to this last one. I didn't even know it was happening until like an hour before. And I'll tell you what, that thing compared to the others that we've been trying to do in the past few years, it was a beautiful, gorgeous surprise. It was an incredible surprise. It was just a group of beautiful brown and black people talking and raising voices together as brothers and sisters about the things that matter to us, and things that matter to the new generation. So, I mean, without getting too much into it, there were a few hundred people, which is more than I've ever seen in any protest here in Brownsville, or that I would have ever hoped to see. And I have, after I was very jaded, I got away from activism in the past few years, because I don't always see eye to eye with the activist community here, even though I agree with most of the things that they do. But I was wrong when I saw these people, and when I saw the atmosphere of love and the atmosphere of emotion. It was exhilarating, and I'm very, very hopeful for the new generation, because all of those people were 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. And they made me feel very old, even though I'm not that old.
Yeah, you're pretty old.
Being around them and being around their spirit made me feel very old, made me feel very ashamed for feeling jaded, and I'm very hopeful for the things that they're going to do. Well, I think it's a new day.
Well, let me tell you, and I agree. And one of the things that I've said, and again, and I agree, and I've said it, I love protest. I love civil protest. I'll always support civil protest, 100%. And people can protest for whatever they want. I have no issue. I think what my concerns was, I'm hoping, I was like you, I didn't know about it till a little bit time before it happened. I'm hoping that everyone out there was social distancing. Everyone out there, was using face coverings. I'm hoping that's the case. I don't judge. I don't know. I have no idea.
They weren't social distancing, but everybody had a fucking mask, which is more than. Can I cuss? I'm sorry. Everybody had a mask. Everybody had a mask, which is way more than I can say for the people that I see at the malls, for the people that I see at restaurants,
Walmart.
for the people that I see at bars. This group of people that were at that march is some of the most responsible citizens that I've ever seen. Everybody had their mask. And even if they were in social distancing, if you're wearing a mask and somebody else is wearing a mask, the chance of contagion is like 0.8%. So it's something ridiculous. So everybody was wearing their mask and were being very responsible. So I don't think that's a bad point for them.
Hats off to now. My other concern, and my other concern is, I want the protest to continue, Rafael. I want the protest to continue. I want people to continue to unite and to continue to fight for a lot of the things that I'm sure that all of us agree with.
Tomorrow,
I'm going to start off like PUB increasing our utility rates by 36% in the past 8 years for a defunct Tenasca. I want people to start protesting that they stole $65 million of our dollars. $65 million of our dollars. I want them to protest that a lot of big old chunk of that money, they used it to make themselves nicer, prettier offices. And they also used that money to increase the salary by almost 100% for the top 3 individuals that are working at PUB. And we got nothing. We got no Tenasca. All we got was broken promises. So I want the spirit of of protesting to continue, because at the end of the day, the increase in regards to the rates out there, they affect every single one of us.
Look, I was telling this to a friend of mine who became the policy advisor for the campaign of Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez in Queens. This my friend is he's from McAllen, and he moved to study a PhD or a master's in Queens, and he met AOC there when she was still just doing her little jobs. She was barely thinking about running, and once they decided they were going to do that, he became her policy advisor. So we were talking about valley politics here, and he was asking me a few things because he hasn't been in contact with the community for a while. And I told him, look, people don't vote, people don't care, people don't pay attention here, and it's not their fault. What happens is that they know that people are very dispassionate because there are no political convictions, because Republicans and Democrats in the Valley look exactly the same and they vote exactly the same. There's no ideological distinction between any of the two sides. I mean, there seems to be, but when it comes to policy, they are very similar. There is no conviction, and people are very disillusioned. They don't feel like voting is gonna make anything different or matter. But what I told them was this, and I confirmed it at the march. I told them the Valley, and especially with the young people in the Valley, these people are powder. These people are a keg of powder, and all they need is a strong voice that is a match. All they need is a strong voice with the right rhetoric that is going to say the right things to these people, and they're gonna get fucking lit up and turn the Valley into a completely different thing. These are the people that are just entering politics. So all these issues that you're talking about, that seemingly nobody cares about, people will care if you talk to them about it. People will care if you have the right voice, and if you approach the correct groups, and you make it an issue worth fighting for. People will go and fight for it.
Let's do it.
But they need a candidate. They need a candidate that's going to speak to that.
Well, let's do it. I mean, let's go meet with them. Let's go talk to them. But let me tell you, I'm always one to have conversations with people, and I'm very proud. I don't know if you know, Mr. Jose Ubayas came on here, I think 2 or 3 nights ago. He and I had our discussions. We had our fights, and for some reason, I sensed that there was a little hate there, and I think I confirmed it one time in a parade where he was shooting the finger at me. But hey, it is what it is. So he came on. We had a good conversation going. I said, man, that's all I care about, dialogue. I don't hate anyone. I mean, sometimes I'm loud, sometimes I'm obnoxious, but you
can be abrasive. You can be a little bit abrasive.
Pero sabes que, Rafael, if we start nitpicking, it's like I could find at least right now 20 things that really I can't stand about Frankie. 20 things. Te las puedo así nombrar, 20 things. But you know what? I want to overlook that and think that, hey, man, we can work together to move forward into a lot of the different projects here in the city. And I'm going to give you one example. When Kimberly went missing here downtown, I mean, I want to say that I was one of the first people out there that was promoting, guys, we've got to keep this up. We've got to keep this active. We've got to keep this going. We've got to make sure that it stays at the front line, because lo que pasa a lot of times, Rafael, es que a lot of these cases, they're put on the back burner. No le dan la importancia que se les debe dar. So I did my best to continuously, I try to reach out to the parents. I promoted the different functions, the different rallies, the different fundraisers. I was out there, and I go for a vigil, one of the vigils they had here. And it wasn't the family. The family has always been very respectful to me. But a lot of these individuals, like, de repente, what is he doing here? We're like, what do you mean? I've always been great to the community. I've always been nice. So again, but what I'm trying to get at is that even stuff like that, we gotta let a lot of that stuff go and move forward on the things that we need to fix in this city. Because we don't have to agree on everything, Rafael. You and I don't. We don't have to agree on everything. But no, we don't have to. Or we should, though. No, but the things that we do agree on, let's push them forward. Let's make sure. I want checks and balances. I want transparency. I want to end nepotism. I want fairness for all gender, sexes, everything. I want it all. I mean, I want the rock gone. I don't care about the damn rock. I don't care about the rock. I don't. But again, if people
sound like you do care. No, let's move on. Let's move on to the Rock. Let's move on to the Rock. I'd like to. I'd like to point something out in the best of spirits. Okay, I come in peace, but I do want to point out that for somebody who claims that they don't care about the Rock,
I don't.
you seem to be very firmly on one side of the issue. Uh, as far as like, there's an outcry, there's a movement to get it out, and you invariably you're there to say that it's stupid and that it shouldn't happen. So if you didn't care that much, just let the movement be,
Oh
right?
no, I'll explain. I support the movement. I mean, I came out here at first and I said, guys, I'm proud that we're having protests in Brownsville. I support it. I want there to be continuity. And again, it may be important to some individuals to remove the Rock. More power to you. More power to the people that thought the Rock was so important that they had to move it. More power to those people. I was definitely not one of them, because I want to be the type of person, Rafael, that I want to go and fight for this up here, because I want to think that this is a higher priority. And I'll give you an example. Look, I understand that the Jefferson Memorial Rock out there, it offended a certain group of people. 100%. I'm all for it. All for it. I want to attack first the issues and the matters that hurt everyone in the city of Brownsville. I want to attack them stealing our tax dollars at PUB. I want to attack them stealing our money at the school district, which they did. I want to attack us not having at the bus stops los cubiertos para nuestros viejitos. I want that to be a priority for everyone out there. But again, if people want to remove the Rock and if they want to change the name of the streets and I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. At the end of the day, I don't care about the Rock. I care more about that what affects us as a whole.
Right. I understand what you're saying. I mean, I agree that those things are important, right? I don't know if I agree that they're more important, because as a student of history and what history, the role that history plays in present politics, that's very important. History is a political tool, okay? So history is used in current politics to justify or disqualify any policies, any form of rhetoric, any form of action. So yeah, history, especially bad history, has to be dealt with in order if we want to have a healthy conversation about current issues. So I do think it's as important as those other things, but I don't think you're gonna help riling up the troops for those other issues that matter to you by dumping on the ones that are currently going on, because these people that are fighting for the Rock, if you become a strong voice with them, when that is over, they're gonna be with you on the next one.
Rafael, pero what I'm trying to say is I don't want it to be an Erasmo issue, bro. O sea, no, it's not
no.
Because you say that's what's important to you. No, I want to fight for that's what is important to every. Look, we live in the poorest city in the nation, the poorest city in the nation.
Yes,
we have probably, and I don't know this for a fact, we probably have the highest electricity rates in our city of our size. We probably do, because they've continuously raised our rates by 8-7%. Now, how many candidates, and you mentioned, how many candidates have actually run on, Rafael, on getting down to what happened with our Tenasca money? You know some of them. They ran. What have they done with what did they do with Tenasca? We've heard zero from them in regards to Tenasca. So where was all that passion in regards to that, which literally affects us all in the city of Brownsville, all as a whole? So I want to fight for things that affect all of us as a whole, and then I want to fight for the thing that affects our special needs students, our viejitos, and our small little children, los que no pueden. And then I want to go to that stuff that is more of a sentimental or an emotional or a me duele acá adentro type of situation. Because let me tell you, we are in the poorest community in the country. We are the fourth least educated in the nation. And
And
those,
also the fattest, right?
well, I'm not fat.
If you want to go there, if you want
No,
to
no,
go,
no, no. I mean, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
I think maybe we've been misunderstood in the sense that these guys are saying it's just a rock. We understand that racism exists even down here. There's been issues in regards to Fronton now being McNair. Could that possibly be something? It could, but Erasmo has said previously, PUB, the corruption at BISD, those are things that affect us directly, Rafael, and so does The Rock. The Rock does symbolize some sort of hate from the Confederacy and from that mentality. But we're all in favor of removing that thing because it does bring some sentiment of diversity within our community. So we're all in favor of that. But we wish, Rafael, that the same energy that we put for The Rock, we should put for BISD corruption, and we should put for the monopolization of PUB, Erasmo.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I think that's
Rafael Barba, send me an inbox. I have a wheelchair. Send me an inbox. I have a wheelchair. I actually I might have a couple. Send me an inbox. Sorry.
I don't disagree with that. I think that's fine. But I think social movements. I mean, they keep these people talk a lot about intersectionality, and what that means is that their social movements and social expressions are not isolated. Okay, we work together. We support everybody. There is a space. There is a space for every movement and for every vision and for every vision of the country. And if we have things in common, then we work together. We support this movement now because the next time, tomorrow, when it's time to talk about these other issues, they're gonna be on my side.
Awesome.
We should because if we don't show solidarity, even if those issues are not a priority to us, if we don't show solidarity when they happen, then we cannot create a cohesive popular movement that are going to speak truth to power consistently and as a community. We don't. We need to support each other because that's what creates a community of people who are ready to talk to the authority and to call it out the way it should be. That's just what I'm saying. We need less. We need to be together more. We need to work together more.
100%. I agree 100%. Guys, our hour is up, and I know we didn't have a chance to speak a lot about BISD. We tried to get a little bit in there, but I promise you that tomorrow we'll have some more information. Again, I haven't had a chance to go over. I didn't have a chance to go over today's meeting, so it gives me time tomorrow to go over the meeting and go over the different calendars that are out there and the different little agendas that are out there. I do want to ask one thing, individuals out there in regards to the district, guys. Please, as they reach out to your representatives out there, your teacher association, share with them what your thoughts are in regards to the calendars. I want my counselors out there to please reach out to your associations as well. Some of y'all, and I need to speak to some of the counselors in regards to the removal of the stipend and moving your pay grade or your pay level. So if you would send me an inbox and we'll have a conversation out there as that I want to get some information. I want to share some information with you. I have a friend that works at the city secretary's office told me that not even the daughters of the Confederacy, which are the ones that gave the Brownsville Rock, or not even responding for the Rock itself. I'll take the Rock. I'll make it into a para hacer una carne asada.
Un asador.
Un asador. Espérame, tocable. Bring the little skittered back.
And that's the way to stick it to the Confederacy. You do fajita on it every day.
Every day. The sacrifice of my cow buddies. Imagine if Martin Luther King focused on the monuments in the South set up for the Civil War. Yes.
Shut up. You don't know anything about Martin Luther King. People like that should not be talking about Martin Luther King ever. Don't talk about Martin Luther King.
Di un chiste, okay? I'll say.
Not another one.
I got one more, no?
One more, yeah.
Yeah, one more. It's a pretty bad one. Estaban las monjitas. This is, I promise, but estaban las monjitas y dicen, ok, niños, vamos a cantar el himno de la escuela. Vamos a cantar el himno de la escuela. Y dicen, sí, 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 vamos a cantar el himno de la escuela. Dice, ok, dice, ¿dónde está mamá? No sé, no sé. ¿Dónde está papá? No sé, no sé. Orfanatorio San José. Y los niños todos llorando. ¿Dónde está mamá? No sé, no sé. ¿Dónde está papá? No sé. Orfanatorio San José.
As an orphan, I'm very offended by that
I'm
joke.
sorry, I'm sorry.
No, I'm not an orphan.
Sorry, guys. Rafa, any last words, my friend?
Why are you gonna kill me? Am I
No.
being executed?
No, of course not. You'll survive another day.
Um, any last words? Okay.
For tonight.
I'll just say it to the people out there. The movement that we are watching on the streets today is unprecedented in the history of this country. Okay, it doesn't have there's nothing else out there to compare it to, and it's mostly young people. I used to think of myself as a young person, but the people who are out there, they are the new blood. That's who the country is going to be 20 years from now. So the people online who are crapping on it, and the people who are exalting the virtues of Chainsaw Guy, and the people who are staunchly against it, and the people who watch these videos of cops shooting people, and regardless of what they saw, they say, "Nah, he was right to shoot him. If he had complied, if I had complied, he wouldn't be dead." I'm telling you, to the people out there, these people who say that, they're done. This is their last stand, and it's done. The future of this country is the people who are out there fighting. Stop wasting your time trying to change the minds of people who are out there, who are on the wrong side of history. These are exactly the people who hated Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was one of the most hated figures of his time. It was only later that his image got whitewashed, and now everybody loves him. But back then, he was one of the most hated figures in the country.
Yes.
People who hated him were on the wrong side of history, and the people who are talking against the movement right now are on the wrong side of history. And you know what? They're gonna go away. All we need to focus on is to get that philosophy and that worldview out of our judicial institutions. You don't try to change their minds. You're not going to, and they're going to die in a few years. The future is out there on the streets, and those are the people we should focus on. And all we need to focus is to keep that horrible, hateful worldview out of our judicial institutions. That's how we're going to make the change. Don't waste your time. Focus on the end game.
Amen,
Policy.
brother. Amen. Good job. Frankie, any last words?
I do want to apologize to you, Erasmo, to Rafa, to the public. Cameron County did report Fox Hollow with 3 employees and 13 residents that tested positive. It's kind of hard to read this information live, so I do want to apologize to the public. Fox Hollow was included in Cameron County's press release. In regards to the numbers, it's very alarming, guys. Again, a 6-month-old, 2 1-year-olds, 9, 14, and we see that gap 20 to 40. A community spread. Let's try our best to prevent this spread. Is very contagious. It's not gonna stop when we continue out, with these gatherings, and we continue out not wearing facial coverings. So this is very real. Again, TEA, the governor, is saying that the kids are going back to school. In my opinion, it's too soon. We will probably be peaking until August or September, right around the time where school starts. So can we just imagine we're going to be in that pandemic for a while? So again, our county judge just recently gave a mandate of having wearing a mask out in public. Now, does the governor override? Does the judge override the governor? Absolutely not. So we are going to see people who are not going to be wearing masks. We just say it's a recommendation for us to try and be proactive in regards to the spread of this virus. Tomorrow morning, Sylvia Atkinson has her arraignment. I challenge people to go out and protest. Let's show unity and say, hey, Brownsville, Texas, BISD will not stand for people who use the political office for their own enrichment, for their own gain. That is how we will, as a community, show a united front and say that we will not tolerate candidates who will use positions given by the community for their own benefit. Thank you so much, Rafael. It was an amazing talk, my friend. Thank you to the public for being so good to us. Happy Thursday, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning with Erasmo.
Guys, what time is the morning tomorrow? The court date?
I'm gonna be there at 8 in the morning.
Good. Guys, I'll be here at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we'll go over some of the BISD stuff that we didn't have a chance to go over today. We'll go over the numbers, and again, I want to apologize for Frankie messing up tonight and not giving us the information in regards to Fox Hollow.
It's hard live, guys. It's hard.
Yeah. So my apologies to Cameron County. I mean, hey, you did report him. Finally, it just took you a week and a half, but hey, finally. Guys, again, so yeah, sorry. I'm glad the numbers are out there in regards to Fox Hollow. It is important for us to know that it is very close to home. Very close to home. And I'm going to make sure that I post it again so that people know it's here. It's here to stay. Stay at home as much as you can. If you're going to go out, maintain social distancing. Please wear your face coverings. There is a new mandate coming out starting effective tomorrow, where face coverings are required anytime you go into a public office or a public place where you're going to have contact with a lot of individuals. So please wear the face coverings, guys. I will say I was not wearing my face covering at my office, but I don't have hardly anyone coming into my office. Estoy solo todo el día. Orfanatorio San José. Estoy solo todo el día. So again, but because I want to comply and because I don't want to set a bad example, I will be wearing the face covering. So again, guys, please comply to the best of your ability. Please take care of each other. Don't go out there and buy all the damn toilet paper, please. Please don't buy all the toilet paper.
Get a bidet. Get a bidet.
Get a bidet.
The bidet is a solution.
Me decían cuando estaba chiquito, oiga, porque a veces no había papel de baño en la casa. Oye, no hay papel de baño. Pues ves, bañate. Esa era la solución. Guys, no. I love y'all, guys. Thank y'all for being patient with us. And Rafael, you have an open invitation anytime you can or want to come by. You come by, my man. Love you, man. Guys, God bless. Take care of each other. Take care of me. Bye.